Something is definitely off at Heartland this week. The new episode is teasing heartbreak, mystery, and a return to the ranch's oldest question. How far would you go to protect the people and the land you love? After the shocking engine failure in last week's cliffhanger, Season 19, Episode 4 promises a storm of emotions, tension, and unexpected alliances. This might just be one of the most dramatic episodes Heartland has delivered in years. Heartland Season 19 has already proven that even after all these years, the show still knows how to surprise its audience. Episode 4 looks set to carry that tradition forward, picking up right where the emotional chaos of the last episode left off. The trailer opens with Lou standing alone, facing the kind of news that no one ever wants to hear. A failed engine mid-flight, friends missing, and the weight of uncertainty pressing down on the entire Heartland family. It's the kind of quiet devastation that the show handles so well, mixing raw emotion with grounded realism. This isn't just another dramatic twist for the sake of tension. It feels deeply connected to the themes of loss, strength, and endurance that define Heartland. At the same time, there's an undercurrent of something bigger forming in the background. The mysterious wolf sightings that haunted the ranch earlier in the season are returning to the spotlight. But this time, it's not just about a wild animal lurking in the woods. It's a symbol. The wolf represents danger, independence, and the untamed side of life that the Heartland family constantly struggles to balance. Gracie, still recovering from her father's accident, seems determined to track down the creature, not just out of fear, but out of something deeper. Maybe a need to regain control of her life. And Lou, who's been stretched thin trying to protect everyone and everything, might finally confront the part of herself that she's been avoiding. The relationship between Lou and Gracie is quickly becoming one of the most fascinating parts of this new season. What started as rivalry has evolved into reluctant respect. They challenge each other in ways no one else does. Lou's cautious by-the-book nature constantly clashes with Gracie's reckless confidence, yet somehow that friction brings out their best sides. The trailer hints that their partnership will be tested again, especially as they dive back into the search for the wolf. But this hunt may not just reveal the truth about the animal. It could uncover secrets about the ranch itself. Something about Price's cattle, the land, and even the ranch's financial stability seems to be at stake. And with Lou's history of being pulled into complicated business rivalries, this could lead to a conflict that tests not only her leadership, but her loyalty. Meanwhile, Jack's storyline brings a completely different kind of energy to the episode. His mix of humor and wisdom remains the beating heart of Heartland. The addition of the young hockey player as his new ranch hand is shaping up to be one of the season's best decisions. It's classic Heartland, pairing an old, tough rancher with a kid who's completely out of his depth. The scenes we've seen so far suggest we'll get that trademark mix of banter, frustration, and unexpected connection. Jack might give the kid a hard time, but he also knows potential when he sees it. The ranch has always been a place for lost souls to find direction, and this young man might be the next to discover what Heartland truly means. There's also something nostalgic about this storyline. Fans can't help but draw parallels between this new ranch hand and Ty's early days at Heartland. The awkwardness, the struggle to fit in, the quiet moments of growth, it's all there. Episode 4 seems ready to tap into that same emotional core that made Ty's journey so memorable. Watching Jack guide someone new, even reluctantly, feels like a tribute to everything the show has stood for since the beginning. The trailer hints that this mentorship could evolve into one of the show's most heartfelt arcs, balancing the heavier drama elsewhere with moments of warmth and humor. And yet, despite all these threads, there's still a sense that something darker is brewing beneath the surface. The combination of mystery, emotional tension, and Heartland's signature storytelling makes Episode 4 feel like it's leading toward a major turning point. Whether it's tied to the plane accident, the wolf, or something even bigger, one thing's clear. This episode won't just move the story forward. It's going to redefine it. As Episode 4 unfolds, the weight of the unknown begins to spread across Heartland like a storm that refuses to pass. Everyone is holding their breath, waiting for answers about the failed flight. The silence on the ranch feels heavier than ever, and even the familiar sounds of horses and wind through the fields can't drown out the tension. Lou's usually steady leadership starts to waver as she struggles to balance her fear for her friends with the responsibilities that never stop piling up. This moment might finally reveal just how much pressure she's been carrying. For years, Lou has been the glue that holds everything together. The problem solver, the planner, the protector. But this time, she's facing something she can't fix, and that helplessness is about to push her to a breaking point. In the trailer, there's a quiet but powerful moment where Lou looks across the ranch at sunset, her eyes reflecting both strength and doubt. It's classic Heartland. No words, just emotion. You can feel the history in every glance, every breath. That's what sets this show apart. It never rushes to the next plot twist. It lets the characters feel, grow, and struggle in real time. And as Lou stands there, we get the sense that she's questioning everything. Her choices, her leadership, and even her future at Heartland. Could she be thinking about stepping back? Or is this just the calm before she comes back stronger than ever? Either way, this episode promises to explore the kind of emotional depth that fans have come to love. Meanwhile, Amy's storyline might take a quieter but equally emotional turn. The wolf mystery seems to be pulling her in again, and not just because of the danger it poses to the ranch. For Amy, the wild has always been a mirror, a reflection of what's happening inside her. Every time an animal crosses her path, it brings meaning, healing, or a lesson she needs. This wolf could be another one of those symbols. Maybe it's about change. Maybe it's about letting go. Whatever it represents, Amy's connection to it will likely tie her back to the others, bridging the emotional distance that's been growing among the family members. Then there's Jack, who, despite everything, continues to bring a touch of humor and wisdom to balance the heaviness. The young hockey player he's taken under his wing seems like a spark of new energy in an otherwise heavy storyline. Their scenes are going to be both funny and meaningful. The kid, who's used to the cold precision of the ice rink, will have to learn the messy, unpredictable rhythm of ranch life. Jack's tough love approach, long days, early mornings, and hard lessons, will definitely lead to some clashes, but also mutual respect. It's the same kind of mentorship that Heartland has always done best, stubborn hearts slowly finding common ground. Fans are already comparing this dynamic to when Ty first arrived at Heartland, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. There's something deeply nostalgic about watching Jack take on another lost cause. It reminds us of the early days of the show, when every mistake and small victory felt like a step toward belonging. This new storyline might serve as a bridge between generations, showing that no matter how much changes at Heartland, the core values, family, forgiveness, and second chances, remain the same. But not everything is heartwarming this time. The hints of trouble from Price's land are starting to grow louder. There are whispers about a potential land dispute, maybe even sabotage. If that failed plane engine wasn't just an accident, it could mean that someone is targeting the Heartland family or their partners. The show hasn't confirmed anything yet, but the trailer's tone, the music, the glances, the tension, all point towards something bigger and darker on the horizon. Heartland has rarely gone down the path of mystery, but when it does, it makes every twist hit harder because of how grounded the show is in real emotion. So, as episode 4 approaches, fans should prepare for a blend of everything that makes Heartland what it is: heartbreak, hope, tension, humor, and the quiet beauty of life on the ranch. Nothing feels certain anymore, and that's what makes this chapter so exciting. Every relationship is being tested. Every decision carries more weight. And with each passing episode, it feels like we're moving closer to a defining moment for the entire Heartland family. The air around Heartland feels heavier than ever, and episode 4 seems determined to push every character right to their limit. What makes this season different is how deeply personal every challenge feels. It's not just about the ranch surviving. It's about the people who've built their lives around it learning how to survive change, loss, and fear. The trailer teases moments that feel intimate yet charged with tension. Lou's voice cracks slightly as she talks about doing what has to be done, hinting that she might be forced to make a hard decision, one that could alter the future of the ranch. Maybe it's a choice between protecting Heartland's legacy and protecting the people she loves most. That's the kind of emotional crossroad that defines this series. At the same time, Gracie's storyline is starting to take on a life of its own. After her father's slow recovery, she's finally able to step out from under that cloud of guilt and grief that's been hanging over her. But instead of relief, there's something restless in her. She wants to prove herself, not just as a rancher, but as someone capable of standing on her own. The trailer hints at a confrontation between her and Lou, where both women are finally forced to say out loud what they've been thinking all along. It's not pure rivalry anymore. It's something deeper. They're mirrors of each other, different styles, different hearts, but the same fire. Their storyline has grown from tension to something more meaningful. And it feels like episode 4 will be the moment when respect finally wins out over pride. But as always in Heartland, peace never lasts long. Just when it seems like everyone is starting to find their footing, new complications rise. Price's ranch becomes the center of growing suspicion. Strange footprints, missing livestock, and the return of the wolf all seem connected somehow. The show rarely leans into mystery, but this plotline feels different. It's subtle, mature, and layered with symbolism. The wolf might not just be a threat to the cattle. It could represent an outside force closing in on Heartland. Maybe it's competition, maybe greed, or maybe just change itself. Either way, it's coming closer with each passing episode. Meanwhile, the scenes with Jack and his new ranch hand continue to provide balance to all the tension. There's something refreshing about their dynamic, a mix of comedy, frustration, and unexpected mentorship. The kids' first real day of work seems like it's going to be rough. We see flashes of exhaustion, mistakes, and Jack's unfiltered honesty cutting through every excuse. But beneath all that gruffness, Jack's patience starts to show. There's a moment hinted in the trailer where the young man finally gets something right, a small success that makes Jack's eyes soften for just a second. That's classic Heartland. Growth doesn't come easy, but when it does, it hits right in the heart. Fans are already talking about how this storyline could be the emotional anchor of the season. It's got that old Heartland magic, the idea that hard work, trust, and a little bit of faith can still change people. And what's interesting is how this mirrors Amy's journey. While Jack is teaching a young ranch hand how to handle life's practical challenges, Amy seems to be teaching herself how to reconnect with nature, with the wild, and maybe even with her own instincts again. The wolf isn't just haunting the ranch, it's haunting her thoughts too. It's almost as if she senses something coming, something bigger than she can see. The trailer's tone makes it clear that episode 4 isn't just another slow burn week at Heartland. It's the build-up to something major. Every conversation feels like it's carrying a secret. Every decision seems to have consequences waiting just around the corner. Even the quieter moments feel loaded with emotion, as if everyone knows that change is coming, but no one wants to admit it yet. This episode feels like it's setting the stage for a shift, not just in plot, but in the very spirit of the show. And through it all, there's still that familiar sense of hope. Heartland has always known how to walk that fine line between heartbreak and healing. Episode 4 looks like it's going to do exactly that. Push every character to the edge, then remind them and us why this family and this ranch means so much. By the time episode 4 reaches its midpoint, the tension that's been quietly building across the season finally begins to crack. The silence on the ranch no longer feels peaceful. It feels fragile, as though one wrong move could send everything tumbling. Lou, who's always carried herself with calm precision, starts to unravel just a little. She's not the kind of person who breaks easily, but it's clear the weight of everything is starting to wear her down. Her world has always revolved around holding the family together, keeping the ranch running, and solving every problem that lands on her shoulders. But in this episode, for the first time in a long while, we might see Lou admit that she can't control everything. And that vulnerability is what's going to make her story so powerful. The trailer gives us a glimpse of a late-night conversation between Lou and Amy. It's not long or dramatic, just quiet, honest, and real. Amy reminds her sister that not every problem needs to be solved right away. That sometimes the best thing you can do for the people you love is simply be there. It's a small moment, but one that carries the emotional backbone of the show. Heartland has always thrived in those in-between spaces, moments of stillness that say more than words ever could. Lou's silence in that scene says everything: the fear, the exhaustion, and the small flicker of hope she refuses to let die. Meanwhile, Gracie's story takes a sharp turn. Her determination to track the wolf leads her deeper into Price's land, where she begins to suspect that what's happening on the ranch isn't just about wild animals. The ground feels uneasy, literally and figuratively. Broken fences, missing cattle, strange noises at night. It's all starting to point towards something organized, not random. In one tense exchange teased in the trailer, Gracie tells Lou that maybe the real predator isn't the one hiding in the woods. That line alone hints that the show is stepping into a new kind of storytelling, one that blends emotional realism with subtle mystery. Fans have already begun speculating that someone might be sabotaging the ranch, possibly to push the family off the land or to gain control over a valuable piece of property. At the same time, Jack continues his unique mentorship with the young hockey player, and their relationship becomes more complex. What started as simple frustration is slowly turning into mutual respect. The kid is starting to understand that ranch life isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. Every failure is a lesson. Every mistake a test. Jack's tough love approach finally starts to pay off when the boy begins to show signs of real grit. But Jack being Jack, he doesn't hand out praise easily. Instead, there's that quiet nod, that look that says, "You're getting there." Those are the moments that define Heartland, the small, wordless victories that hit harder than any grand speech. Still, beneath the progress and bonding, there's a strange undercurrent running through the ranch. Amy's growing connection to the wolf, Gracie's suspicions about Price's land, and Lou's constant worry all start to blend together into one uneasy feeling: that something bigger is coming. The wolf becomes almost symbolic, a shadow of whatever's threatening Heartland from the outside. And when Amy starts noticing patterns, tracks leading in circles, fences broken but not by animals, it becomes clear that this isn't just about nature. Someone or something is trying to send a message. The emotional depth of episode 4 seems ready to match its mystery. Every storyline feels connected, even if the characters don't fully see it yet. Lou's anxiety mirrors the instability on the land. Gracie's hunt reflects her own inner battle for control. Jack's mentoring symbolizes resilience in uncertain times. Everything in this episode appears to circle around one question: how do you stay grounded when everything around you begins to change? And yet, even as the shadows lengthen, there's still a heartbeat of hope running through it all. Heartland has always found beauty in resilience, the ability to keep going even when the future looks unclear. The trailer's final moments, a mix of fear and determination, make it clear that this episode isn't just about surviving a crisis. It's about rediscovering what truly binds this family together: trust, love, and the land they've built their lives around. As episode 4 reaches its final stretch, the tone shifts from quiet unease to full-blown tension. Everything that has been simmering beneath the surface finally begins to boil over. The trailer gives us glimpses of chaos: headlights flashing in the dark, fences torn apart, and faces that carry more fear than words could express. Something has gone terribly wrong at Heartland, and for once, no one seems to have control over what's happening. The mystery surrounding the failed flight, the damaged land, and the returning wolf all start to weave together into one thread, suggesting that the family is about to face something they never expected. Lou's strength is tested like never before. She's always been the one to hold everyone together, the one who plans, organizes, and fixes every problem before it gets out of hand. But in this episode, she'll have to face the one thing she can't control: fate. There's a moment hinted in the trailer where she stands in front of the barn, completely still, listening to the wind. It's one of those classic Heartland moments where the emotion speaks louder than any dialogue. You can feel her heartbreak, her determination, and that deep, quiet love she carries for her family and the ranch. She knows something is changing. And whether she's ready or not, she'll have to adapt. Meanwhile, Amy's instincts start leading her toward answers no one else can see. The connection she's always had with animals becomes the key to understanding what's really happening on the ranch. She begins to realize that the wolf's return isn't random. It's a sign, a warning, maybe even a reflection of what's happening within the family itself. The wolf represents survival, adaptation, and the harsh beauty of nature. It's as if the wild is trying to tell her something, that balance has been broken and needs to be restored. Amy's role in this episode will likely be one of quiet revelation, the moment where intuition and courage finally meet. At the same time, Jack's storyline adds emotional weight to the chaos. His relationship with the young ranch hand reaches a turning point. After days of mistakes, frustration, and hard lessons, the boy finally earns Jack's respect. But it comes in the middle of crisis. When things go wrong at the ranch, it's the new kid who steps up, showing bravery and loyalty that no one saw coming. It's a subtle but powerful reminder that growth often happens in the hardest moments. Jack, ever the quiet mentor, sees in the boy the same spark he once saw in Ty, and it's impossible not to feel the nostalgia. It's that full-circle storytelling Heartland does so well, new beginnings growing out of old memories. Then comes the moment that fans won't stop talking about. A sudden noise in the distance, maybe an explosion, maybe something even more unexpected, sends everyone running. The trailer cuts just before we see what happens, but the fear on their faces tells us enough. Whatever it is, it's not small. This isn't just another day at Heartland, it's the start of a turning point for the entire season. And it's that mystery, that sense of something bigger lurking just beyond the frame, that's going to keep fans on edge until the next episode. Episode 4 feels like a collision of everything Heartland stands for: love, fear, loyalty, and resilience. Every character is forced to confront something real, their fears, their pasts, and their limits. But through it all, there's that unbreakable thread that's carried the show for nearly 2 decades: hope. No matter how dark things get, Heartland always finds a way back to the light. That's what makes it more than just a family drama. It's a story about endurance, about holding on to what matters even when the world shifts beneath your feet. So, if the trailer is anything to go by, Heartland Season 19, Episode 4 will be one of the most emotional and suspenseful chapters yet. It's not just another episode. It's the moment that sets the stage for everything to come. Questions will rise, alliances will shift, and the meaning of family will be tested once again. One thing's for sure: when the credits roll, we'll all be left holding our breath, waiting for what happens next. For more weekly breakdowns, predictions, and updates on Heartland Season 19, make sure to stay tuned. Because if Episode 4 is just the beginning, the rest of the season is going to change everything we thought we knew about Heartland.